Hi everyone, this is Caly with craftingcaly.wordpress.com. Thanks for joining me again. Today I am making a money holder slider card for my sister who is getting married tomorrow. And I had every intent to use a foiling technique on this. And instead of being successful at it, I am going to go through all the ways that I failed on making this project today. So first I'm starting by making the slider card itself. So this piece of cardstock is cut to 7 1/4 by 7, and the 7 1/4 length is what's towards the top of the scoreboard there, and I scored at 2 inches and at 5 1/4 inches. And then the layer piece there is going to be cut to 6 3/4 by 3 inches. So to adhere the card, I am using some sticky strip by Stampin Up. Of course, you can get this anywhere. I know they sell it at Michael's and Joann's and other craft stores. This is no longer being carried by Stampin Up. Obviously, they have lots of tear products now that are easier to use. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this DSP or Designer Series paper to this Sahara Sand card base that I have created, and then I try to punch it, and there are so many layers there that it really did not go through. So I made enough of an indent with my punch to go ahead and hand cut that circle piece out for the slider portion. So that was my #1 fail there. And here I have a set of my favorite things stitched traditional tags that I am going to stamp the sentiment on and hopefully try to foil it. So I pick out the right size for the frame, and here's my first attempt at foiling. Now I am trying to do foiling in the most basic ways. I don't have a Mink machine, so I'm using some Versamark, and I learned from Jennifer McGuire that you can use some super fine clear embossing powder to try to foil. So that's my first attempt, and here's my second fail. I don't show it on here, but I have so many things plugged into the outlet close by that my heat gun would not work. So I had to unplug that and go and plug it into another outlet. Anyway, I emboss that, and then I run it through my swing line laminator twice. And I just wanted to show you here, it did not work very well at all. I don't know what the problem is. It's probably maybe the laminator, because it's not made for obviously foiling, but I thought it would work out okay because I've tried it in the past and it has worked. I don't know why it didn't work this time. I didn't have the super fine powder before, and I thought it worked pretty well, but this time it just didn't show up very well. Maybe it's because it's super fine powder, but I thought super fine powder would work better. So here's my second attempt, and I'm using heat and stick powder, which I saw Jennifer McGuire do recently as well. So here I am using that, and I go ahead and I heat emboss that to activate the stick, and then I put the foil on top, and I actually run that through the laminator. I run it through twice, and I want to show you here. The heat actually smushes the sticky powder, and it makes the foiling really thick, and you'll see here in a second what it looks like. But you know, this one had the best coverage, but it also took away from the fine details of the sentiment. And so yeah, it just didn't turn out very well. And so that was failure #2. Well, I think we're on like 4 or 5 if you are counting, but so here's my third attempt. I'm using the heat and stick powder again, but this time I don't run it through the laminator. The heat and stick powder, once heated, is supposed to be sticky, so I am just using my Teflon bone folder to kind of push the foil onto the surface of the sticky powder, and hopefully it will stick better. Now I have to say, this technique worked a little bit better than the first, but it still had some blotchiness and didn't have the greatest coverage. So after 3 attempted failures, I was so frustrated and fed up. I'm gonna have to maybe try to get the ink machine. I was hoping not to have to spend the money on something like that, but I have tons of foil now, and that's the only way that I'm going to be able to use it up, is to maybe buy a ink machine, and hopefully that will work better. So never fails, right, is regular traditional embossing. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just going to use some Wow Superfine, not superfine, just Wow Gold Rich powder. And I'm going to heat emboss that. And of course, I just feel like at this point, foiling is just a technique, just a fad. Embossing is really the one true way to do things beautifully without failure. I know some people have trouble with embossing as well, but I'm sure I mean, I can tell you from experience, obviously from this video, that traditional embossing is so much easier and so much more simple than having to buy a laminator or a make machine to create the gold image that you're looking for. Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry if I haven't mentioned it, but the foil that I used above is iCraft Deco Foil. I purchased a bunch at Michael's on clearance, so they were $1 a piece, but they only come in rolls of 1 sheet. And just so you know, you can get 20 packs from Ellen Hudson for like $10. So much better deal, and you get a lot more bang for your buck. Anyway, I purchased it that way, and I used rose gold in my samples, and I have so much left over. So it is quite an investment to have to buy a foiling machine and foil. So anyway, my personal opinion is embossing, regular embossing, is so much easier to do. So if you're thinking about buying a ink machine and foils, I hope that this video will be helpful in helping you make that decision. If you have the ink machine and think that it works great, please let me know, so you know I can know whether or not investing in a purchase like that is worth it. I do appreciate any advice that you guys provide. I am just learning and sharing what I do and what I love. So I'm also a learner. So I really don't think I'm better than anyone else. I am just doing what I like to do. Anyway, to finish out this slider card here, I cut out that slider portion, which is just a 1/4 inch smaller or thinner, but it's still 7 inches. I decided that I didn't like that it slid all the way through, so I went ahead and added some sticky strip towards the bottom of that card base. Now I have the money holder portion, which is cut to 3 by 4, and I'm just going to randomly cut it at an angle. And I will add some sticky strip towards the bottom there and also on the left panel. And I'm going to leave the top unadhered so that I can easily slide the money in and out. And I don't show it here, but the money fits into this slot perfectly without much extra room. So you don't want to add any adhesive to the top unless you decide you want to make your card and the base, everything a little bit bigger. Probably a good 1/4 inch would be good if you wanted to add adhesive to the other end of this panel. So I also add a little bit of a tag by cutting off the corners of that slider piece and also punching a hole. And that really completes this project. I also add a sentiment there towards the bottom of the slider portion just to finish it off. But that is the end of my card. My husband and I celebrated our 11th anniversary yesterday, so a lot has been going on this week, and we're just kind of ready for this week to be over. But I hope you enjoyed this project, and I thank you for watching. I hope you've learned a lot, and I know I have. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.